Welcome back. Currently, we are learning Python, and this is day 27 of the playlist titled Python Beginner Boost. And in this video, we will learn about inheritance in Pythons. So, inheritance is a fundamental concept that allows us to create new classes based on existing classes, enabling code reuse and building hierarchies. So by the end of this video, we will be able to understand inheritance, and we will learn inheritance using the example of a person class, which will be our parent, and a child class, which will inherit the attributes and behavior of the parent class, and it will be named as student class. So what is inheritance? It is a mechanism in which a new class known as the child class inherits properties and behaviors from an existing class known as parent class. So first of all, let's try to create a class which will be our parent class. So I will create a class called person, and here this person class will have the init method because it will act as constructor. So whenever an object is created, this method is always called, and here we will pass the self keyword along with a name and age. As you can see, I have provided two parameters here, and now I will use one print method, so I will be able to know that a constructor is called. So I will write here parent init is called. After that, I will assign the values self dot name, which will be equals to name, and after that I will assign the age self dot age equals to age, and also I will create one method which is introduce method, and here also we will pass the self keyword, and on the next line we will print the name along with age. So I will use f string for that, and here I will write my name is, and here on the curly bracket I will write self dot name. So this is how you access the variables or the attributes of a class inside the method self dot name, and age is self dot age. So now we have created a parent class along with some attributes and methods. Now let's try to create the object of the current parent class. So we will create the object like the way we create variables. So we will write a name of the object p1, and after that we will write person equals to, and this is how we are creating the object. Now here we have, as our class is expecting two parameters, so we will pass two parameters. First is name and the second is age. So let's provide the parameters. So first is name and the second is age. So let me write some number here, and let's also uh, call the introduce method of this class. And now let's try to execute this code. So python 3 and then the name of the file, which is inheritance.py, and press enter. As you can see, first of all a parent init is called because first of all we are creating the object. That's why when we create the object, the control goes to this init method, and these values are set, and after that we are calling the introduce method of p1 object. So this line is printed on the console. Now let's try to inherit or create a new class by using the parent class. So I will create a class student, and in order to inherit the properties, the attributes and methods of a parent class, we have to pass the name of the parent class inside this parenthesis. So the name of the parent class is person, so I am providing it here, and we can create an empty class by writing the pass keyword inside the class. So we can write the pass keyword here, and now if I try to create the object of this class, then it will allow us to create. So without using, as you can see, we haven't defined the init method in this class, but as we are inheriting it from the person class, so we will be indirectly using the uh, init method of the person class, which is our parent. So let's use student, and let me save the code and run it and see if we get any error or not. As you can see, we are getting some error because we are inheriting the student class from person class, and it is saying in it missing two required positional argument, name and age are required here. So let me pass name and age. So I will pass Tom Cruise and some number as age. I don't know his age, but I hope he will not see the video. And let's also execute the introduce method here, and let's execute our code. As you can see, again here First parent init is called because we are creating one object of person class, and then the introduce method is called. After that again the parent init is called because we are inheriting the attributes and methods of the person class. That's why the init method of that class is called along with this method, which is also from the parent class. Now suppose if we don't want to use the init method of the parent class, then we can do it using this way. We have to define a init method in this class. So def init underscore underscore, and then I will pass self and name and age, and let me write here print uh, child init is called. And let's also set this variable. So self dot name equals to name and self dot age equals to age. Now let's execute the code again. We have done the changes in the class. We have defined the init method of the child class. So if now I run this code, then a object will be created, and let's see if child init is called will be printed or the parent init is called will be printed on the screen. Let's try to do that. As you can see on screen, child init is called is printed on the screen, and after that the name and age are printed using the introduce method. So this is how we inherit the attribute and method of a parent class into a child class. Now suppose we want to create some parameters of this class which are not into the person class. So we can do that also. So let me create some parameters here for the attributes of this class. So here there are some attributes which I am providing. So first is student ID, and then let me also provide course. So if I am passing these parameters while creating the object, then also I have to set those values here. So let me just set those values. Self dot what's the name of the parameter? Student ID underscore ID, and it will be student ID, and the last one is self dot course is equals to course. Now while creating this object, we will pass these attributes, but first also let's look at how can we leverage using the mm, the init method of this class person class. As you can see, we are defining the init method of the parent class, but we can also leverage the init method of the child class. Like if we use the init method of the parent class, then we can remove these lines, these two lines, because they are redundant. This line we also have defined into the init method of the parent class. So I can remove it here, and here I can write the method super dot underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and here I can pass name comma age, and it will not give us any error. Let me just remove this and save it. And also here s is capitalized, so let me just remove this also. So what we are doing here is, while passing the name or age, it will be set using the init method of the parent class, and the other attributes will be set using the init method of the child class. So let's try to execute this code and see if we are facing any issues or not. So as you can see, we are facing some issues because here two positional arguments are required which we haven't passed. So let me pass those argument ID. So I will write some text here, ABC123, and course, let me write CS 101. And now let's execute the code. As you can see, parent init is called, my name is printed. Also I have removed this line, so let me just write that line also. Print child init is called. Let's execute this again. So as you can see, now the order of execution is, first of all we have created the child class, and here we are creating the object of the child class. That's why parent entity is called, and this method we wanted to introduce is called. After that, we have created one more object of the child class, and we have passed 4 parameters which we have defined here on the structure. Then we go to the line number 20 and print child init is called. After that, we are calling the init method of the parent class. That's why the control returns here, and these attributes name and age are set. After that, what we are doing is we are calling the introduce method, as we are using the super keyword is here. That's why we are able to access the attributes and methods of the parent class, and the name and age is printed. Now suppose if I want to create a method inside a child class to display some specific information, then if I will be able to do or not. So let me create a method here, and the name of the method will be display underscore student underscore info. And as we already know, we have to pass the self keyword, and here after this we can print uh, the student details like student id and course. So let's print this. So I will again use the f string student id, and here I will write self dot student, and on the next line I can print the course f course is self dot course. Now let me just bring this code from here to here, so we will be able to compare this. And also let me try to execute the display student info method of the child class from the parent class. I know it is not possible, but let's write it and see what will be the issue. I think it will give us an error, but let's write it and also copy here and paste it here, and here I will replace it with s1. So I think now we can execute our code and see what will happen. As you can see, we are getting an error. Person object has no attribute display student info, because this display student info method is created inside the child class, so we are not able to use or access it from the parent class. And now if I remove this line and execute the code, as we have defined the display student info method inside the child class and we are accessing it using the object of the child class, then it will allow us to access the this method and print this two statement, which is student id and course. And also let's add one more method here, one more thing, which is a name. Let's see if we are able to access the name or not, because we are setting the name and age using the init method of the parent. That's why I'm trying to show it to you. So name, and here I will write self dot name. So let's execute our code now and see if it is printed on screen. Student object has no attribute student, but okay, student underscore id should be there. Let's execute the code now. So as you can see on screen, first of all, let me just make it little small and bring it here. So here we are creating one object of the type class person, and we are passing Shubham Lashkan and 27. So we are referring to the person class, so it will go directly to the person class and will run the init method, and it will print parent init is called, that is printed here, and these two attributes will be set. After that, we have called the introduce method, so it will print this line. So my name is printed along with the age. After that, we have created student object, s1 object, which is of type student, and we have provided some 4 values. So it will go to the init method, it will run this line, child init is called, as you can see on the screen. Then it will go to the init method of the parent class. Here the parent class is person, so it will go there and it will print parent init is called, and then set this attribute name and age. After that it will come to this line 21 and 22, set the student id and course. So they are set, and after that on the line number 34 we are calling the display student info method of the student class. So that's why student id, course and name is printed. So this is how inheritance help us in Python. So it help us reusing our code and writing the code which is uh, easy to read. So that's it in this video. Let me just recap it what we have learned in this video. First of all, we have created a class which is named as person. After that, we have created second class student, and we try to inherit the properties and methods or attributes and methods of the child parent class into the child class using the name of the class. So here we have provided the name of the class, and we can also use the init method of the parent class using the super function. You can see here it here, and we can also create the methods inside the child class, but this method of the child class will not be accessible to the parent, but the method of the parent class will be accessible to the child if we have inherited the parent class. So that's it in this video. I hope you are able to learn about inheritance. We will explore some more concept in the next video. Thank you very much.